Hello and welcome to week 2 of the WPF Delta Draft League. My name is Scribbles and I'm coach of the Colorado Cobalions. This week we're going up against TRowe and the Toledo Mudkips. Taking a quick look at their team, they have dual speed control with Trick Room and Tailwind with very strong setters for both, as well as incredibly threatening Pokemon, most notably Mega Blastoise that works very well under either speed control regime. Based on their team and kind of what my team can do, I thought my best bet was kind of build towards a somewhat hard Trick Room, but mostly just bulk out the team in a lot of ways to try and be able to either counteract their Tailwind mode or to at least be able to take some hits and deal out damage of my own if they go for a Trick Room. So my team starting this week was Sinistcha, obviously my first pick, team captain in all likelihood. It's not going to get 6 kills this week, I don't think. It has a basic kind of supporting offensive set. Matcha and Shadow Ball hit the opposing team pretty well. I think the only Mon that I can't hit at least neutrally with that is Mega Trampa. I'm also running Trick Room and Rage Powder. Rage Powder is useful primarily to redirect fighting attacks away from Mega Gyarados and psychic attacks away from Como. I can honestly also redirect a few other attacks throughout the battle situationally. I considered Protect in the slot to help me out with Aegislash, who is a bit difficult to deal with as I can't KO it with Shadow Ball when it's in the shield form. But ultimately Rage Powder seemed like it would be more useful generally, and I don't want to be running Protect if I'm going to be going into hard Trick Room. The Invest here allows me to survive an Adamant Brave Bird from Sharp Beak Talonflame. And then the special attack hits a jump point, going from 163 to 165, and then just a little bit of a dump in special defense for general survivability. The next set this week is Primarina. Primarina, I'm bringing this week. I considered it last week. I think it has a better matchup here. It completely blanks Mega Drampa, and it really gives Mega Blastoise a lot of trouble. So both Megas have a really difficult time dealing with Water Fairy type coverage, at least from their offensive stabs into my defensive typing. A pretty standard Hyper Voice, Moonblast, Protect. Ice Beam's there to help me hit Rotom. Rotom's kind of annoying. I can't redirect its attacks with Sinistcha, and I just need to get damage into it basically to try and fight through it. I'm running max special attack and then a pretty physically bulky spread. With the Kebia Berry here, I can survive a Jolly Acrobatics plus a Jolly Dire Claw on the same turn. I should live that every single time. And then hopefully either KO Talonflame with Hyper Voice or Helping Hand Moonblast will OHKO a Sneasler as well. The Helping Hand will be coming from Tinkaton most likely in this set. Tinkaton's really useful here with the Mold Breaker Fake Out. I can fake out their Farigiraf, which is not something you're generally able to do. The spread itself is just a physical attacker with a good amount of special bulk to kind of help out against Rotom and Mega Blastoise. Gigaton Hammer and Ice Hammer do not hit Mega Blastoise, but the Gigaton Hammer gives me neutral into most Pokemon, and then I have Ice Hammer, which should allow me to hit Rotom, who's a resist, and then when we're dealing with Mega Blastoise, we have the ability to use Helping Hand and support either Sinistcha or Primarina or Gyarados or pretty much any of my other Pokemon that are in to be able to deal massive damage to Blastoise. So the idea here is that I didn't want Tinkaton to be dead weight after I got it in and started after the fake out and got Trick Room up. So I wanted to have options to hit the opposing Pokemon and then also support damage from a partner. Gyarados is kind of a flex position here. It's my only Mega, so it might come to a lot of the battles. It could come to my slightly faster mode, which we'll get to with Weavile or Como, or it could come to the Trick Room mode. I have basically no speed investment. Max attack, max HP with a dump into special defense. This does live a modest Rotom Leaf Storm after Mega. It lives it before, but I would likely be Megaing this pretty soon just to avoid any sort of electric attack from Rotom if they're kind of up against one another. The moveset's pretty simple: Waterfall, Stab, Power Whip hits Blastoise. I went with Lash Out over Crunch. There's a 5 base power reduction, but I am able to OHKO, I think, non-Colbur, it's max HP for Farigiraf variants, with Lash Out, whereas Crunch would not after I get intimidated. So if I lead Gyarados on turn 1, kind of in my potentially faster mode, and they have Farigiraf, if a Crocodile leads, I should be able to Lash Out and KO the Farigiraf on turn 1, again, as long as they're not Max or have a Colbur Berry. The next set here is Weavile. This has enough speed for Jolly Sneasler, max attack, and then kind of just a dump in special defense. Weavile and Sneasler too both have fairly respectable special defense, so the dump there actually allows me to survive some attacks from Mega Blastoise, attacks from Rotom, those type of things. So that was the idea there. The set's pretty simple. Knockoff, Triple Axle are just stabs. Triple Axle over a different ice stab because I can't actually OHKO Sneasler with Triple Axle. Fake Out is pretty much standard on every Weavile set. Maybe I'll run some that aren't. And then I ended up going with Feint over Protect or some other move in some other coverage in that slot. Feint is useful because it allows me to break Talonflame's Gale Wings pretty much regardless of what my opponent does. There's not any way that could stop me from breaking the Gale Wings aside from opposing Sneasler or Fake Out, which has +3 priority to Feint's +2. That could come up in some situations. I also did not generally want to be protecting with Weavile because it is really bad in terms of momentum. The one time it could be useful is if I'm in Trick Room and have Weavile in the back. It might be nice to have a turn, but Fake Out can also provide me that turn. Other than that, the set, like I said, straightforward, minimum speed investment to get where I need, and then just a little bit of special bulk. The last set, Como, here is my kind of the conclusion of my fast mode. So I'd say the 4 on the left are probably the Trick Room mode, and the 4 on the right are probably the fast mode. So Trick Room, Sinistcha, Primarina, Tinkaton, Gyarados. Fast mode, Como, Weavile, Gyarados, Tinkaton. This has Clanging Scales, Flamethrower, Clangorous Soul, and Protect. So Clangorous Soul gives me a +1 to all stats, which with this speed investment allows me to outspeed Talonflame. And then after doing that with Clanging Scales and Flamethrower, I can hit their entire team for at least neutral damage with the Clanging Scales. The only exceptions are Alcremie and Aegislash, and Flamethrower hits Aegislash, and I'm just kind of hoping they don't bring Alcremie. I have Gigaton Hammer on Tinkaton just also to kind of help out with that. The investment otherwise, the Colbur Berry allows me to survive any of the priority attacks from Talonflame. I think they all do a little bit less than 50% if I'm not boosted. If I am boosted, then I think I can take 2. I don't remember what the exact calc is. Bulletproof over Soundproof. Bulletproof allows me to not take any damage from Shadow Ball or Aura Sphere from Blastoise. So Blastoise has an interesting dilemma about what moves to choose. I think it's going to go Water. I think it has to go Fighting. And then it's Dark or Ice. So it's essentially Dark Pulse or Ice Beam. I think it goes Dark because it has more value into Sinistcha and it has more value into Oranguru. And so if it drops Ice, Blastoise is going to have a really tough time hitting this for any damage. And then without being able to hit Como with Shadow Ball, Aegislash isn't going to be able to do a ton of damage into this either, especially if I lose my item and it doesn't have access to Poltergeist. So it's kind of a Hail Mary set. It could end up working really well, and I wanted to have some sort of fast mode if Trick Room was just not going to be viable. So that's the team overall. Like I said, main game plan would be Sinistcha and Tinkaton, set up Trick Room, and then try and break through their team before Trick Room ends. Maybe having Weavile in the back to kind of clean up, and then a fast mode with Weavile and Como, set up Como, and then try and break through them with Como. So that's the game plan. We'll see how it goes. Just joining into the battle room here. Made some last minute changes to the team because I was nervous about, a lot of things, really. Basically, the main thing is Como is a little bit bulkier now. Weavile has Feint over Protect. And I think those are the main ones. Yeah. So, let's do it. Should be an interesting one. Not feeling great about this one, to be honest. His team is really hard to deal with. Alright, what did he bring? Okay, he did bring Alcremie, which is fine. It probably invalidates the Como mode, but to be honest, it looks like everything else is kind of what I expect. He doesn't have Paragraph, so he's not running any sort of Trick Room. So I don't have to worry about that. So if I go Trick Room, I'll have the advantage there. Probably just going to go with my standard Trick Room lead. I don't know if Como will convince him to bring out Creamy. Creamy Decorate is like, whatever, I really don't care about that, to be honest. In the back, I'm going to bring... I guess Primarina. And then the question is if I bring Gyarados or Weavile to kind of clean up after. I think I'm gonna go with Gyarados. So just all the bulk. So general strategy here, gonna get Trick Room up. I don't see a great way that they can deny Trick Room. So that's gonna be the main focus. And then from there, just try and get enough damage off to win. And then we'll pivot around game 2 if necessary. With Alcremie there, Como is really, really tough to bring, to be honest. So I don't know if I'll use that mode at all, but let's go ahead and see how this goes. I'm gonna have to pay attention to a lot of things on their team. So like last week, they ended up bringing some anti-priority tech, which was really annoying to deal with. Here, I imagine if they're not attacking with Talonflame, that's an advantage for me. So I'm kind of okay with that, I suppose. But let's see what they end up doing. They got more trip than me again. Okay, Rotom Talonflame. All right, so this is not that bad at all, really. So yeah, I don't mind this. I'm going to go ahead and so the biggest problem here would be Trick from Rotom into Sinistcha. I think no matter what, I want to fake out Talonflame. If they Trick Room, it's not the worst position for me. I should be able to get an Ice Hammer off into Rotom afterward. And if I have to switch out, that's fine. I think this should be fine. Okay, they switch out, that's good. Into Blastoise, sure. You get a little chippy here, I don't think that'll matter ultimately. Okay, so this is what I thought might happen. And this is kind of fine. I don't mind this so much. The only problem is that it's difficult to switch in at this point, but that's okay because I should be able to Ice Hammer, which I believe, I should bring up the damage calc, I don't know why I don't have it up. Let me import these sets. I believe Ice Hammer into Rotom. I got some time I can calc. This is an old set. It needs Helping Hand support. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and Ice Hammer into this slot. And so if they go Electric or Grass here, I guess I go Primarina in this case. Because I've got more Spadef on Primarina. And I'm not negative, so I should survive this. So that was kind of one of the things that I was worried about in mocks, but didn't necessarily run into specifically. Okay, so that does about the expected amount of damage. And now I should be faster. Oh, it's already faster, it looks like. Water Spout's not going to do very much. I assume they're going to T-Bolt. Volt Switch, okay. Survive that, which is good. So that was Water Spout Blastoise, which is good to know. Go ahead and protect here. I'm just scouting out for Gale Wings, basically. So the Choice Scarf Sinistcha could be helpful in game. If I can get rid of Gale Wings here. Yeah. Okay, so they're Brave Bird. There's Water Spout again, so I'll live this. Barely, okay. Good SPDF investment, pick up my Citrus Berry. What does Helping Hand Moonblast from Primarina do here? Say they're max HP. It's not gonna do a lot. But if I get like a SPDF drop or something like that, let's go for that. I think I could have gotten Talonflame killed there, but I think I wanted to get this damage into Blastoise. And if they're not max HP, if they've got some speed investment. Okay, takes them down to 15. I might survive if they do Water Spout again, yeah. Yeah, both my mons survive. And the Brave Bird, this probably kills Primarina, which is fine. So Blastoise Sinistcha can be... I think I still got some Trick Room turns at this point. I don't know what their switch into Gyarados would be. How many does the last turn of Trick Room? I think I doubled the Talonflame slot. I could preserve Fake Out, I suppose. Because I don't think I kill Blastoise with anything here. I think I'm going to switch back to Sinistcha. And I'm going to go ahead and just base Waterfall the Talonflame slot. So this gives me Fake Out on a later turn. And if they let Talonflame go down, which they do, Blastoise's damage output is not great here, especially if I have Choice Scarf active. As long as they didn't Dark Pulse into this Sinistcha slot, which they just are through. Okay, so they predicted the Mega. So now I have Scarf, Sinistcha. Trying to think of what they have in the back. Sneasler, okay. So I think with Sneasler here, I'm going to go ahead and Matcha Gotcha, and I'm going to switch in Tinkaton, predicting the Fake Out. It also lets me preserve the Intimidate, which it's probably wider, but it could be Ash, it could be a bunch of different things. That's great for me. That's amazing for me. Okay, so they have taunts on Sneasler. Burn would be really big. If the Rotom's Trick, I imagine it's not going to have any ability to protect. So I think I can safely Fake Out into that slot. And I think Fake Out plus double Matcha Gotcha should be able to finish this game out. At the very least, I can Fake Out and then Helping Hand Matcha Gotcha. So I think the Scarf's gonna end up working out pretty well for me here. I'm assuming if Sneasler has taunts, it either drops Protect or Coverage. It could be something like Acro, like wider Acrobatics, which would be bad for me. Okay, that's pretty good damage. So as long as it's, okay, it's got Throat Chop. which is not a 2-hit KO, which is big. Okay, yeah, that'll KO. So I can target Sneasler with the Gigaton Hammer, because I am going to be faster. And the healing from Matcha is going to get me up there too. Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and... I'm Scarf, so I can't. I was thinking like, oh, do I Rage Powder here? But I can't, I'm Scarf. So this should kill Rotom. That did plenty of damage. I could miss. Sneasler probably needs to target Tinkaton here. And I don't think anything but close combat will KO. So I think I'm in a good position here. I don't know if Gigaton Hammer will KO Sneasler. It might. It probably will. Okay, so they Throw Chop again into that slot. Okay, and they Thunderbolt, okay. So that should be fine because they would need to... So it's important to know Rotom outspeeds... Oh, double miss, are you kidding me? He's wider, but it was already faster than me. Okay. I think... God, this is tough. Okay, so Sneasler attacks into Sinistcha, KOs. I need to KO Sneasler. The double miss is so bad for me. So I guess I'm hoping it's not close combat or Sneasler, which it's going to be. I guess I need Gyarados doesn't outspeed speed either. Yeah, I didn't survive 2 of those regardless. I don't think hitting either mattered. I needed to hit Rotom. I suppose locking into Shadow Ball is probably optimal. So I guess if this doesn't have close combat, I can win. Taunt, Fake Out, Dire Claw, maybe it doesn't. I'm pretty sure it will though. Yeah, okay. Well, I'd say that obviously the Matcha miss on Rotom cost me the game. I don't think locking the Shadow Ball is right either though, because the healing probably kept me from being 2-hit KO'd by Throat Chop. So that was really unfortunate. Trying to think if there's anything I would like to change that game. I could go with the Como mode, but to be honest, yeah, Trick Rotom caught me a little off guard, but I think I was fine, realistically. They know I'm Culverberry, but maybe they weren't paying attention. I think I still liked the Bring. I just missed my attack, you know? Talonflame didn't seem to have any way of dealing with that lead. I don't think I want to bring Como. I mean, I think that was fine. Trick kind of got me a little bit, and then I guess Gyarados not outspeeding was kind of a problem, so maybe we're going to Weavile as my last mon. That would give me a more reliable switch into Rotom. Yeah, if I do KO Rotom there, I don't think Sneasler can win the 2v1. They want Sneasler Blastoise, so they have faster Fake Out. I don't think it matters necessarily, because they don't KO me. They do have Taunt. That only works if I don't know how well this works for them. But I think I can just Trick Room and Fake Out Sneasler. Because obviously they can taunt me, but I would hit them with the Fake Out first, and they don't kill me with Dark Pulse. Fake Out and taunt. Sure. That's fine. So now I can Matcha Gotcha and so I could also switch into Primarina on a Throat Chop. So I think they're gonna double Sinistcha here. So if they double Sinistcha, I want to switch into Primarina. And then I also want to just Gigaton Hammer Sneasler, I think. Because I think they're going to double attack into... I think they're going to Dark Pulse and Throat Chop. And that's not going to do anything. Ice Beam. Okay, they do have Ice Beam. Don't freeze. Okay, I would have loved for that to have killed. So I could Protect here. So either they don't have Fake Out or they don't have Taunt. Or they don't have Dire Claw. If they drop Dire Claw... I can't Hyper Voice, it's fine. I will just Moonblast into this slot and just Ice Hammer this slot, I guess. Okay, they do. Okay, I do survive. Then they use Water Spout. I think I go down on Primarina to this. I guess Protect was the better play there. So let's see what they go into. So they have Ice Beam. Go into Weavile here. Okay, they have Rotom. And I know it's Scarf with Volt Switch. gonna fake out here and bring in Sinistcha. Yeah. All right. So Talonflame. So I really want to get Trick Room up again. I can break Gale Wings, but I think they're going to double into the Sinistcha slot.
Yeah.
I think I go into Tinkaton. Alright, I'm going to triple Axle into Talonflame and switch back to Tinkaton. Because I think they're going to Ice Beam, they're going to try and deny Trick Room. I don't think triple Axle kills Talonflame or anything like that. If they just Water Spout, I'm in trouble. Yeah, they're going to try and deny Trick Room. Maybe this KO? I don't know if KO is good for me. Yeah. So now with Ice Beam, I think they can finish me off. I guess I could have mixed up the leads for game 2. I was just missing the... It put me... I hate losing game 1 because it puts you in such a tough position. So I think Ice Beam's going to be enough to KO me here. Unless I get some like crazy crits or something like that. Or it's like timid or... Yeah, it's smart to not trick. It still does a decent amount of damage. I don't think Ice Beam KOs, but it's gonna be close. Yeah, but I need like the biggest crit of all time. Yeah, man. I guess like game 2, I could have brought something different, but missing the Matcha Gotcha sucked. And then I guess I had the speed tiers correct overall, in that Blastoise outsped Tinkaton. Which for fake out was really important, which initially in the build I had it set up that way. May as well Rage Powder out. I changed it because I wanted to be able to outslow some Pokemon. But I don't think it ended up being the right call. Does Rotom get the kill? No, Blastoise gets the kill from the 1 HP. Oh, even on the crit. So, yeah, again, I probably could have changed up the leads game 2. It just seemed like it was going to work. Had I gone Como Weavile, which is the faster mode, I would have been in very, very, very good shape game 2. Although Blastoise did have Ice Beam, which was a good call on their part. So they dropped Dark Pulse. Which, like, if I had brought Oranguru, I think that's an interesting choice. So I think Oranguru would have been really strong. But yeah, that's week 2. So we go down there. Unfortunately, game 1 and game 2, I was kind of out of it from, I'd say from turn 1 to some degree. Tried to fight back a little bit, but did not end up having enough bulk, and it looks like they dropped Fake Out on Sneasler, which was unexpected. I guess if you have Blastoise, you get Fake Out. So one of those things with the build like this week was tough. I couldn't figure out exactly how I wanted to attack the opponent. It seemed like Trick Room was the right play. It just didn't have quite the build for it. And then I got kind of conditioned from some mocks to avoid attacking into Trick Rotom or baking out a Trick Rotom because I didn't see it in mocks. So good game to my opponent. Congratulations on the win, and we'll bounce back next week. All right, bye.